Hey, I'm Finn Mactaggart. You're checking out Best in Show on SHOWstudio. I'm very excited about this segment because I talk a lot of shit about designers on panels, but this is a good chance to highlight something that I really did enjoy. There were some great shows that I liked this men's season. Fendi made their monogram look super desirable all over again. Rick is obviously always consistently exciting to watch, and Emil Meester as well. When I looked at London, I felt a little disappointed by some of my favorite designers in the city. Martine Rose and Wells Bonner played it a little safe. So I looked to the CSM grad show to see what we could bring on today to talk about. And one standout designer that kind of stood out among a sea of Vetements ripoffs and kind of post-Vetements student collections was Mowalola Ogunlesi, who did this fantastic, very energetic, very sexy collection inspired by bikers in Lagos. It was styled by one of my absolute favorite stylists in London, Ib Kamara, who does really great stuff with a photographer as well called Kristen Lee Moolman. They just have a really unique eye and do great things for London, really. I always love like a biker reference. Like I love leather jackets, I love painted leathers, I love playing around with leather. It's a fantastic material. And there was a lot of like aggression from these, from this kind of biker point of view. There was a lot of like accessories, like these pieces, which were all inspired by like hood caps, which is kind of like a classic thing. It was like a kind of Beastie Boys or Run DMC type of thing, like an old hip hop thing, but obviously has been kind of reintroduced through these Lagos bikers. And there were a lot of like massive accessories, like these big like car lights as well, which were just used as kind of like bags and pieces like that, which looked super exciting in the show. Another thing that I liked was there was Ib had styled it all with like visible lingerie. So some of this stuff that's in here, like this lace detail, was in the underwear as well, which had this like really cool juxtaposition between these like super masculine looking guys, but also this like really sexy look. And a lot of it was like super exposed. You got a lot of oiled chests out, you had backs exposed, you had a lot of shirtless guys, and it just looked hot. The collection was called Psychedelic in reference to like 70s Nigerian psychedelic music, which was what we heard on the runway for the show. That was also something that brought me back to when Grace Wells Bonner did her show at CSM, her grad collection. I'd worked on the music for that, and we were getting inspiration from a lot of that sound world. Another thing that related to Grace's work was the kind of, it was kind of like DVD covers, like Nigerian DVD covers or CD covers, and the aesthetic of those, that cover art, which was quite important. I remember when Grace was researching her collection, but also came up here in a much more kind of over-the-top way. Some of it, I believe, had even been printed onto these pieces. But I guess I just really like the treatment of these leathers. I think Mowalola was like a textile. She'd specialized in textiles or print, I can't remember now. But she obviously had a really good hand when she was treating these leathers, and painted a lot of them, printed on a lot of them, and it looked just very new. It's certainly something I would wear because I like leather that's been painted on, as you can tell. I remember really being excited at that first Grace Wells Bonner show and seeing so many. It was a completely black cast of guys at Grace's show. The same again at Mowalola's, and it's good. It's really good to see that CSM is kind of able to become a bit of a platform for black designers, working with black stylists, working with black casting directors and all black models to really give a bit more depth to the conversation about diversity in fashion. It's often just a conversation about one black face on a runway instead of how can we bring in more photographers, stylists, and creative directors in, who are the people who are really making decisions. So it's always good to see that coming through and being rewarded. I believe she didn't win the first prize, which was a complete disgrace. So that was a shame, but she did get a prize, and I thought that was well deserved.